Hello, today we will explain the past perfect, the overview, how to form a past perfect, when to use the past perfect. That's got to know there are in the English language regular verbs and irregular verbs. For irregular verbs, it is advisable that you study the most commonly used irregular verbs. How to form the past perfect. For regular verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have, but in its past form, which is had, and the past participle. We can make the past participle by adding ed for the base form of the verb. And for plural forms, we had walked to school. You had watched the tennis match. They had marked the tests. Now, we need to pay extra attention for the verbs ending in an e, such as leave, wipe, and close. With these verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have, but in its past form, and the past participle. When we form the past participle, we add d only for the base form of the verb. For example, I had leave the, he had closed the window, they had wiped the floor. We also need to pay extra attention for the verbs ending in a y, especially those preceded by a consonant such as spine study. Here, y becomes I. For example, he had spied on his neighbors. We had studied hard. Now, let's take a look on the irregular verbs. With the irregular verbs, we use the past simple form of the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle with a unique past perfect form. For example, I had built that shit with my own two hands. The infinitive form is to build. She had bought some flowers at the market. The infinitive form is to buy. Now, let's take a look on the past perfect in question. For regular verbs, again we use the past simple form of the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. For example, had she talked to him? Had you kicked the ball? And for the irregular verbs, we also use the past form of the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle with a unique past perfect form. For example, had she quit her job? The infinitive form is to quit. Had you driven her car? The infinitive form is to drive. Now, let's take a look on the past perfect in negation. For regular verbs, we use had and not contracting it into hadn't, and the past participle. For example, I hadn't listened to news. It hadn't rained since Friday. They hadn't closed the window. And for the irregular verbs, we also use had and not contracting it into hadn't, and the past participle. Again here, the past participle has a unique past perfect form. For example, she hadn't quit her job. They hadn't paid for dinner. Happened in the past, but before something else in the past. For example, we have two things happening in the past, and the past perfect happened in the farthest point in the past. For example, I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. So, first I brushed my teeth, and then I went to the bed, and both things happened in the past.